Table. Alright, Cabal Therapy. This is the part of the game where he names Force of Will. Mental misstep. I guess he might have just named the creature he knows he has.
Right.
Just slow him down. Then you get to see if he has Force of Will. The mental misstep back.
Yeah.
And this is a great exchange for Joe anyway, because that mental misstep out of Jacob was going to stop a Nomad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if he gets to trade his mental misstep for that mental misstep, that's the best thing he could be doing. Plus, this Cabal Therapy is going to help really strip Jacob's options.
And he's gonna force.
Does he pitch the blue card that Joe already knows about?
Yeah. Can we find out what he pitched with the force? Yeah. Or yeah. I was gonna say, can you move the camera? But I don't think you can do that remotely. Still seems really good.
The sick thing here for the breakfast player is that he can play these really attrition-y games. So
Okay.
That's a strange card to pitch. But
Yeah, he pitched the Silvergill Adept. Not the Silvergill Adept, but a Silvergill Adept. Yeah, and they moved it into
and Adept in the board, or in the exile zone.
Yeah.
The thing about these attrition-y type situations is that even if Joe throws tons and tons of cards at Jacob, it only takes 2 cards to win. You know, as long as he doesn't get stuck with the dead cards in his hand. And that's part of the reason why cards like Brainstorm are so good for decks like Breakfast and Flash. The deck that Breakfast is most like, actually, is Flash. I mean, it has a bunch of dead cards, and you just put together 2 cards that cost very little mana, and you just win the game outright. And you just constantly want to be getting rid of those dead cards and looking for more ways to just play your combo and force it through. Lord of Atlantis hitting, putting a healthy clock on Joe. At this point, we're looking at a 3-turn clock right off the bat. And he surely still has whatever that card in his hand was. Joe dropping a Savannah. Always makes me smile when I see Savannah and Underground Sea fighting side by side. But without Limdul's Vault, your mana's got a lot more options. So there's the mystery card that appears to actually be the Rejury that we spoke of.
I don't know that it's a
Tap 3 mana, man.
Oh, did he tap 3? Okay, then it must be a Rejury. It's just so hard to see the artwork.
No, dude, you can see that from a mile. Well, maybe not. It's actually all glare. But he tapped 3. Now the interesting thing is that Joe is now on a 1-turn clock, so he's going to have to put together the combo really fast. He's had the Cephalid, he hasn't had the Nomad. But if he tutors for it right now, which we're going to see, the question is, how much disruption does Joe actually have to force through this combo?
Does he?
He's going to get the Nomad for sure.
Yeah.
Or the Shaman. Probably the Nomad.
I wonder what's in Jacob's hand. He looks like he has 2 or 3 cards. 3 cards?
Yeah. So Joe might have to do this raw. He might not actually have any additional disruption. I mean, he doesn't play Thoughtseize. He doesn't have very many Cabal Therapies in his deck. It's possible he has a Force of Will or a Mental Misstep in his hand. I don't even think he's got enough cards. I think he's just got to hope that previous battle that drew out the Force of Will and the Mental Misstep, that was all Jacob's gas.
Yeah.
Does he get the Nomad?
I believe so, yeah.
Does he get the Nomad or the Shaman? Because the Shaman he would get if he has Jacob on having a Mental Misstep. However, the Nomad he would get if he thinks it's more likely that Jacob has a Daze.
It was the Nomads, I'm pretty sure. From what I could tell in the glare.
I mean, the Shaman Encore has very similar artwork. As an A, Shaman.
Yeah, I know. I just typed it wrong, but I'm having that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the
Nomads. Yeah, because I think it's better to play around Daze from this position anyway.
There it is. Yep.
And so this is where it starts. I mean, if he would have led with the Rejury instead of the Lord of Atlantis, then he could threaten to have more mana up. So it looks like he's going to have to do it. Now it's interesting that he just has that Misty Rainforest in play. What he should do is sack it first. Oh good, it looks like he's going to. I was going to say, because he needs to sack it first before he mills his whole deck. Because it's going to be really awkward if he actually has the Daze, and you mill your whole deck and you don't have any more dual lands in your deck.
Yeah. Which a Friday Night Magic redraw. No wonder we couldn't recognize it.
Dude, I'm telling. That's. All right, so he's gonna fetch up a land, do his combo. Basically, as long as he doesn't have 2 combo pieces in his hand, you know, he's got 2. No, you know what? It doesn't even matter though, because he's got 2 Cabal therapies in his deck, so he's gonna be able to mill to the 2 therapies, and between the 3 Narcomoebas and the 2 creatures he already has in play, he's got 5 guys to sack. He could even therapy himself twice if he needs to. This is pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Jacob has.
Assuming Joe plays, you know, technically tight here, this is a done deal. I mean, Jacob's going to make him do it. This is their first game. He wants to make sure that he's actually, you know, proficient enough to know how his own combo works.
And there's Narcomoeba number 1.
All right. Now Joe's got to decide. It looks like he has nothing but land in hand, so he can afford to go ahead and Cabal therapy Jacob.
Yeah.
Just make sure that the coast is clear.
So flashback on a Cabal therapy. He's got Lord of Atlantis and what was it?
Coral Home Commander.
Okay. Nothing there.
So now he's just gonna keep milling himself, get the other Narcomoebas in play, and then eventually Dread Return the Karmic Guide, use Karmic Guide to get back Kiki-Jiki, make a copy of Karmic Guide, get back Sky Hussar, which will untap everything, which then Kiki-Jiki can make as many Sky Hussars as he wants, each time untacking Kiki-Jiki, and then they all attack. A little bit like the Splinter Twin kind of finish, which is why we brought up the Deceiver Exarch, but...
So it looks like he just said, I'm milling my entire deck right here, you know, just to shortcut it.
He said demonstrate the combo.
Yeah.
And this is to check to make sure that Joe actually knows how everything works.
I have that card, right?
Yeah, he's like, where's the Dread Return?
No, he already used the Dread Return. He's looking for the Karmic Guide.
Oh, okay.
There it is. He just had it stuck under a card where he didn't see it. So now the Kiki-Jiki comes back. This is the part where Kiki-Jiki makes a copy of Karmic Guide. Joe looking for the concession, Jacob making him do it.
Right, so, alright, copying Karmic Guide.
Karmic Guide brings back Sky Hussar. Okay. And once he says, it sounds like Joe actually tells him everything he's going to do, and then Jacob packs it in.
Yeah, so, wow, pretty impressive deck. I mean, especially from that hand full of land. But that Worldly Tutor...
Well, it only takes 2 cards.
Right,
you know?
like you said, it doesn't matter. He can have a bunch of dead cards. All he needs is 2.
Very, very hard.
And Jacob used up all his disruption early, fighting over that, what was it, a Cabal therapy, right?
Yeah, but that would have just stripped him of his disruption anyway.
That's true.
Now, the thing is, normally Breakfast is really good against almost everybody game 1. Sideboarding is where things get tougher. He gets Dismember. He gets an extra Dismember to board in, go up to 4. He gets a Relic of Progenitus and 2 Tormod Scripts, which are very powerful. He gets a Phyrexian Revoker, which it's not super insane, but it's kind of nice because it can mess up. I mean, you put it out, and now you can just name Kiki-Jiki.
Right.
You know.
What about Surgical Extraction?
Surgical Extraction, another amazing sideboard card. I mean, this is a lot more graveyard hate than we see out of most people. Plus, between the Revoker, the Extraction, the Tormod Script, the Relic of Progenitus, the Dismember, and that's a lot of really nice sideboard options. Yeah, I mean, that's hitting from a lot of different angles. This is going to be a lot harder after sideboarding.
What does he sideboard out? Like, what is he, I mean, bringing all that in, do you just get rid of the counter spell?
Well, he doesn't need Ether Vial.
Right.
I don't think he needs Ether Vial. He can take out the Great Glass Spinners. And then, and from there you just start taking out whatever you think is slowest. You know, just some creatures that you think are slowest, because you want to keep all your disruption.
Okay.
You don't need the biggest clock in the world. You just need to have. You need a ton of disruption because these Breakfast decks have so much library manipulation and so much disruption of their own. Now, Joe's deck. It looks like he's. He doesn't have Crippling Fatigue, which means, or he doesn't have Ancient Grudge or Crippling Fatigue, which is going to make the Phyrexian Revoker actually a little bit tougher. You know, he's got access to 1 Venser. And I guess a Kasali Pride Mage? Yeah, he'll bring in the Kasali Pride Mage, if only to make sure that, to try to fight Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus, Phyrexian Revoker, possibly even Ether Vial if it comes to that. This is definitely going to be a lot harder for Joe after sideboarding. It's no fun when the Rabbit's got the gun. Abeyance. I think Abeyance actually is going to be a really important part, because when he abeyances Jacob, Jacob won't be able to dismember or counter spells or activate his like relic, or even the surgical extraction. I mean, Abeyance is definitely going to be what his new game plan revolves around. Got some questions?
Here's a question about the shortcut. Is the shortcut not risky? You have to mill 3 cards at a time, so shortcutting the entire deck. Is it 3 cards at a time?
Yeah, it is 3 cards at a time.
So if your deck's not a multiple of 3?
No, then you just mill your whole library.
Okay. So you just
remove the top 3 cards.
Okay. So just if there's one left, you just remove that last one. You win before you have to draw. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You mill your whole deck.
Okay.
You don't really have to do it. I'm saying, like, notice he didn't just do the shortcut until he knew his opponent had nothing. He waited, doing 3 at a time carefully to set up a situation just to make sure that he was careful. And once he knows his opponent's defenseless, then he knows there's nothing that he can do. So he just flips his whole deck and says, I'm going to be putting each of the Narcomoebas into play when the triggers are appropriate.
What do you think about Ant with Misstep is a question here.
What do I think of what?
About Ad Nauseam Tendrils with Misstep.
I don't think you really want Mental Misstep and Ad Nauseam Tendrils. And it looks like the guy who made top 8 did not play Mental Misstep in his Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Like, attrition is the opposite of what Ad Nauseam wants to be doing. They just want cards like Thoughtseize. It's not horrible in their deck, but they don't want to be reactive at all.
I want to play 43 lands, convince me not to.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a question.
He wants to know why not play 43 lands.
No, it depends on what he's trying to accomplish. If he just really enjoys the deck, he should play it. If his goal is to win, I think he's underestimating how bad Mental Misstep is for 43 land because of the fact that they can Mental Misstep your Mana Bond or your Exploration. Mental Misstep, one of the many casualties of it, has been 43 land, which it is just brutal to have your Mana Bond or Exploration countered.
I guess here's a question about Standard. Out of these 3 decks, Vampires, Mono Red, or Fauna Shaman decks?
Which is most advantaged in this meta?
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
Like, as long as it's the Cowboy meta?
Right.
Then I actually like Vampires the best.
Yeah, and that seems to have proven itself in the last 2 weeks.
I don't think you want to be on Fauna Shaman right now. I think Fauna Shaman is for after June 20th. I don't think it's time for Fauna Shaman.
Here's a quick one. You like to root for Vampires in Standard. Who do you root for in Legacy? Seems to be Breakfast
I root
at the moment.
Honestly, I root for whoever is not Merfolk.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, I just root for people. No, that's not true. I root for Brainstorm. Anybody who has Brainstorm, I'm on board with. Merfolk is like the evilest of the evil. They have all the things that are wrong with Legacy except Brainstorm, which is the thing that's most right. So yeah, I vote for whoever is. I root for whoever's playing against Merfolk.
Island Walk is evil.
I like all the combo players. Dude, combo feels like such an underdog these days. All the just various random blue decks, they're too good. So I just root for the combo decks.
Well, Jacob starts game 2 off with an island. And Joe with an underground sea into an Aether Vial. Wait, which deck is which?
No. The Aether Vial is very good against the Merfolk deck, actually, in this matchup, because it can let you play both halves of your combo, not just uncounterable, but at instant speed and dodging any possible disruption from cards like Mental Misstep. Or not Mental Misstep, but Wasteland.
So here we have a Mental Misstep fight over the Aether Vial, and it appears that the Vial may stick. Yeah, it did. It resolved. So Jacob untaps his island.
Joe seems very confident. That's the fingers locking together of a guy who just won the fight over Aether Vial and has both halves of the combo in hand.
Wasteland,
oh, look at that. That's the nonchalant. Do you think I give a damn? Do you think I give a damn?
I don't need land.
This is the damn that I don't give. It's like I'm a really, really, really stingy beaver.
So Joe plays a Tundra.
Alright, Joe just hanging out, content to just let the vial tick up and pose a lethal threat. Even like right now, if Jacob taps out for a Silver Gill Adept, he's facing certain doom.
And he goes with Phyrexian Revoker
The
now.
best possible play for himself at this point.
That will make a game of it.
Joe's like, okay, at this point I'm going to have to fight back. Enough didn't
Yeah.
get around acting all confident. Phyrexian Revoker, that's actually, I got to respect that. That's a really good card. I mean, he could name the Vial, he could name the Nomad, he could name the Shaman, he could name Kiki Jiki, depends on how he wants to play. Most likely he's going to name either Kiki Jiki or Vial, depending on how what the texture of his hand is and his game plan.
So Brainstorm resolves, Vial puts a Nomads into play, and the Phyrexian Revoker resolves.
Is the Revoker, he's either going to name Nomad or Vial. Yeah, he did name Kiki Jiki, because he knows that Joe's only out is a single Venser. And a Kasali Pride Mage that he probably boarded in, hopefully. But it's tough, because when you combo off, he only has access to one Dread Return. So there's no question the Revoker's going to make a good, honest game of this. Joe has the Cephalid in hand, so he does have the combo, so to speak.
Right.
But what he's really going to be looking to do here is brainstorm and try to find a Venser or a Kasali Pride Mage. He really needs to try to find like a Worldly Tutor or something so that he can get an answer to that Revoker, because he's in a commanding position right now, but as long as the Revoker is sitting on the table, they have to play a real game. It has to stop. Like, he can't just flip his whole deck,
Yeah.
So, Joe was definitely super happy sitting there with his Nomad Encore and Cephalid Illusionist and Ether Vial, knowing that he had that, but has to respect the Revoker. I mean, that's the best possible thing Jacob could be doing right now. Joe ships the turn. Still feeling pretty good. I mean, he has the combo and the Vial. He's one piece away. If he can just find a solution to the Revoker, he can already combo at will. Meanwhile, Jacob has yet to present a clock.
Well, Revoker's sort of a clock.
It's not. You can't attack. He blocked with a Nomad Encore and a Heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, you can't risk that.
Absolutely.
Jacob working on putting together a reasonable clock. Agree completely. There's no reason to represent Dismember here. It doesn't matter. You have Revoker, you're already all in. You can't beat, you're not going to be able to stop the combo from happening other than you're just all in on this Revoker. That's the Pride Mage. He found it with the Brainstorm.
Wow. So there's Pride Mage.
Yep. This is a done deal. Joe is going to destroy the Phyrexian Revoker, vial down the Cephalid, start milling himself, Cabal Therapy his opponent as much as it takes, and then do the combo the old-fashioned way. The actual nuts. I mean, a lot of people throw that term around. This is the actual nuts.
He can't vial down the other half yet because he vialed.
Well, no, he
down.
did that on the end step.
Okay.
So he'll Pride Mage the Revoker, untap, and then vial down.
Okay, got it. Yep. Kill your Revoker. Untap.
Jacob knows the writing's on the wall. His only hope is that somehow Joe doesn't have the Cephalid that he has. He's even got Abeyance. Why not? Why not? Just play a land, cast Abeyance, seal the deal. You won't even have to try hard
where
after
he's
that.
headed, yeah.
Wow. Could not have anything better. Very powerful. Very, very powerful line. I mean, there's nothing Jacob could have done in this game. Force wills the Abeyance, refuses to give in, but with only one card in hand, there's no card he could have that could actually mean anything. Joe, asking himself, am I sure, am I 100% positive there's no one card he could have? What if it's Surgical Extraction? So now Joe's going to have to figure out, well, I'm going to have to play around the one surgical extraction. What do I need to do in order to play around that? That's what he's taking a step back. He's like,
right, yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah,
He's got that one surgical extraction. He's going to have to figure it out.
Gonna have to.
Because the mental misstep doesn't do anything in this position. It has to be the one surgical extraction.
Right. I mean.
All he can first of all, most likely Jacob doesn't have it anyway.
Right,
but you can't just hang out. I mean, you have to just vial down the cephalid and hope to hit a narcomoeba and a cabal therapy before you hit the combo pieces.
Yeah. So there's the.
Well, I guess that doesn't even matter. You just surgical extract the narcomoeba if you're desperate.
Yeah, that would shut things down pretty well.
Well, it'd slow it down a little
Right.
bit. He still has 2 creatures, and he can mill himself at will. So if he ever draws a 3rd creature, he can just dread return the hard way.
Right. Is that a cabal therapy on top of his?
It is, which means he still needs the narcomoeba though.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because I mean, as we said,
If the narcomoeba hits, he
right?
can
If he has the
extract.
surgical extraction, he's
So
going to
just
have
with
it.
the narcomoeba, yeah.
Jacob has no gain by conceding, so it doesn't, you know.
Absolutely.
He might as well just
let him do it. Yeah.
see if he slips up. He can make a mistake. Jacob has his his arms crossed, a sure sign that he does not actually have the surgical extraction. It's very closed. He's not opening things up. He's trying to protect himself. He's trying to.
That's interesting. The body language.
There's the narcomoeba.
Yeah, and
now we're going to find out the truth. Sacks it to cabal therapy immediately. The fact that it successfully entered the battlefield.
Yeah. And I'll show you surgical extraction.
Ah, okay.
Oh, so that it was the surgical extraction.
This guy, what a stone
Unbelievable.
master.
So
Has
surgical
the-
extraction
and he
targeting
hits Sky Hussar.
Hussar.
Wow. Patience. Well done by Jacob Boschee.
Yeah.
So, has the surgical extraction. Now Joe's going to have to just do this a little bit honest. Still in a pretty good spot. But, most likely we're going to end up seeing Joe trying to take Jacob to Value Town. Jacob does have a Coral Helm Commander, which is a pretty dominating presence on the board. What exactly is Joe's plan here? Without the Sky Hussar. I mean, he can Karmic Guide and Kiki-Jiki, and Venser the... so yeah, he's going to mill himself and leave, like, hopefully as many cards left as he can and still get all these things. But if he gets the combo of... if he mills his Narcomoebas, he gets the Dread Return, he can Dread Return the Karmic Guide will get back Kiki-Jiki, Kiki-Jiki will make a copy of Karmic Guide, Karmic Guide will then get back Venser and bounce the commander. Now every turn he can actually just keep Kiki-Jiki and Venser to bounce it and just swing with all his dorks. I mean, that's where we're at, right? Value Town?
Seems that way. Well, we passed the turn back to Jacob.
Well, keep in mind, Cephalid Illusionist can actually make Narcomoeba able to block the the Coral Helm Commander without dying.
Okay.
Using his normal ability.
So, that looks like what he's doing here.
What's the next Narcomoeba? He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to drop so low that he can't actually win. Wow. Still hasn't found the Kiki-Jiki or the Karmic Guide. He's going to have to keep going. He's got to be very, very careful here.
Is that the Kiki-Jiki?
That is the Kiki-Jiki. He still needs the Karmic Guide. As soon as he gets the Karmic Guide, he can stop.
There's the return. Yeah.
There's the Venser. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Time to do some math. Wow. What are the chances? Because it's really bad if he misses, if he tries to flip one more time. And even if he flips, I mean, this is...
Yeah, that was all end of turn, right?
He decides to stop. He's going to have to go on the backup plan.
Oh, that's right. You can't Kiki-Jiki copy Venser. No, you Kiki-Jiki copy...
No, Karmic Guide. You
Karmic Guide, right.
Yeah, you just make Karmic Guide every turn to get as many blockers as possible. You can't make copies of Venser.
Karmic Guide dies twice.
You can pay.
Oh, yeah. Wait, does he have enough?
No, he doesn't have enough right now. I guess he has to try to... Puts down the Shaman. The beats continue. We're gonna have a close game here. We've got the most mediocre of beats.
Yeah. Man, the glare is so bad in the middle of the table. It's okay to the sides, like closer to the players.
It's interesting that Jacob has decided to go beat down with that Coral Helm Commander instead of staying home and just trying to deck Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just giving Joe some sort of opening to win with beats.
So, Joe currently beating down with a Shaman Encore, a Nomad Encore, 2 Narcomoebas, and a Cephalid Illusionist. Meanwhile, Jacob has a Coral Helm Commander swinging in for 4 each turn, and a 3/3 Mutavault on defense trying to hold down the fort, at least in the ground. Joe, with only 5 cards left, is struggling to come up with a solution for how to win this game without Sky Hussar. It turned out Jacob's last card really was the Miser Surgical Extraction.
Yeah, kind of unbelievable.
Joe, surveying all those different options. I mean, he doesn't really have any juicy Dread return targets besides Kiki Jiki and Karma God at this point, and Venser. I mean, I guess no, because Holy Pride Mage's Exalted is probably not going to be enough. But it's the type of thing that once you get your Karmic Guide back, and if you get Karmic Guide, make a copy with Kiki Jiki, you know, then you can actually start making some progress. You just get more and more guys out, as long as it's not one of the bottom 2 cards of the deck.
Yeah, that's where it's really.
This game is definitely going to be tight.
Yeah, I don't know how many cards he's got left in his library.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, it's not
4 or
many.
5. I think it's 5. So now it's interesting. The Cephalid Illusionist can use his ability on the guy that's blocked by Mutavault if he really needs to, but Joe's going to make sure he doesn't die to damage either. I mean, there's a lot of different types of tension here. This is definitely a tough spot for Joe to be in. But he's got so much power that if he can just find the solution, I mean, man, it looks like about 5 cards. I think he's deciding this is like his last chance to mill 3 cards and try to go for it.
Yeah.
But he's like only 60% to actually hit the Kiki or the Karmic Guide.
Does he have any other options? So that's the thing. Like
Playing fair, grinding it out with dorks. Interesting. He can ponder. Question is, does it get him anywhere?
Is that a Nomads or a Karmic Guide? What is that second card? I think it may be
Nomad,
a Nomad
and a Narcomoeba.
Yeah.
Narcomoeba, Nomad, and a land.
Well,
Or it's an advance. Yep, so he puts him back, deciding to just go with the beatdown plan. It's interesting that it didn't shuffle there.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, wouldn't he have rather have shuffled? Since
Get a
he-
chance for that Karma Guide?
Right.
It's weird they didn't put the land near the... I mean, like... I don't know. We'll have to see what his plan is, but I keep thinking he just wants that Karma Guide. Why doesn't he Dread Return and... I don't know. Because if he Dread Returns and he plays a Kiki Jiki, his Kiki Jiki can make a copy of Coral Helm Commander, which could then immediately level a whole bunch. Each time.
Yeah.
Just to get enough damage in with haste. He's got to find a solution. I mean, a solution to dealing 12 damage in time. Ah, classic. Do you have any idea how Encores work in combat? Here's a hint. I have a Cephalid Illusionist. It's not going to end well for you. Joe very expertly applies the backup plan, shows that Cephalid Illusionist plus Nomad Encore is actually a combo for other reasons.
Oh yeah, by the way.
So Jacob taps all of his guys to do 0 damage. But he learned a valuable lesson about how combat works.
How combat works?
Joe draws.
No,
So-
Karmic died.
No, and really, I mean, he's got a lot of damage, but I got a feeling Jacob's going to stop attacking. I think Jacob has learned his lesson. So the question is Joe going? How many guys will Joe swing with this time? I mean, how much does he actually have to represent the defense? He's got to do 12 damage in time, but he's only got like what 3 cards left in his library.
Yeah, should be 3. Because he drew the 5th one, I guess, with the Ponder, the 4th one just on this turn, so 3 left.
It's going to be down to the wire. I give the advantage to Joe at this point. It's going to be close though.
Still giving the advantage to Joe?
Was that white card Karmic Guy?
Oh.
We thought it was Nomad. But in that case,
wow. He actually
yeah, this is
did have it.
Yeah, now he's just going to massacre him. All right.
So, here we go.
There we go.
Karmic Guy, get Kiki Jiki. Kiki Jiki will,
These are some serious beats now. He's even got the mana to pay the Echo. It's beautiful. It is a thing of beauty. You know Karmic Guide has protection from black?
no.
So many cool abilities.
Karmic Guide is awesome.
Karmic Guide is awesome.
Make a copy of Karmic Guide.
And Karmic Guide gets back Venser. Venser bounced your Coral Hum Commander.
Well, that explains why I didn't shuffle.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense. I thought it wasn't the Karmic Guide, so I'm thinking, why wouldn't he shuffle? So, in with the beats, and how much is that?
I think that's about 7, since it's 6 creatures attacking.
Yeah. It is a bunch of 1-drops, or 1/1s and a...
This is
one
like what
power.
happens when Allurin has to pitch Raven Familiar to force a will. Not Raven Familiar, Cavern Harpy.
Yeah.
Jacob adds Coral Home Commander back to the board.
Yeah, but it's a done deal. There's nothing he can do.
I mean,
No.
Joe just does the same thing next turn, right?
Yep. I mean, not the same thing.
Yeah, he can't
He's going to
bounce
just get
his
more
way.
guys, though.
Right.
He's just got so many. He only needs to force through 5 damage.
So, pay Echo. Yep. Echo paid.
The skill tester is successful.
Draw a card. Kind of irrelevant what it is, I think. Flashback Cabal Therapy. Probably with,
Guy, not without flying.
right.
Why wouldn't you sack Venser there?
I was thinking that too. You could sack Venture to just rebuy it with a copy of Karmic Guide. You know?
Maybe he just wants to present as much damage as possible, so he's going to get back to Sally Private? No, I don't know. That doesn't help. It's a done deal. Looks like he's illegal. Is that a Venser? Is he? No, he's getting Karma Guy. I was gonna say that's
Yeah, he,
definitely not a legal play.
so.
He does get back the Kasai Pride Mage.
And now he attacks with copy of Karmic Guide, Venser, and all the other guys.
He didn't attack with Karma Guide though.
Yeah.
And that's game.
Yeah.
All right. And we see the secret handshake.
Yeah, apparently.
Now, do we have time to cut over to another match?
We'll find out.
Like, particularly Nick Spagnola, I think people are asking about.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I deck up just a second? Is that alright?
Oh, yeah, oh, you check. Yeah, that's cool.
Just for a second.
All right, so for those of you just joining us, we just finished up the quarterfinal matchup between Jacob Boschee and Joe Lossett. Joe Lossett playing Breakfast versus Jacob's Merfolk, pretty classic Merfolk list. Joe took down that match 2-0. with his Cephalid Breakfast deck. Very, very interesting kind of 2 games here. Kind of went off pretty easily with the combo in Game 1, but Game 2 had quite a bit of disruption from Jacob. Well, mainly, it was just the 1 copy of Surgical Extraction that he had in the sideboard. He just had it when he needed it, and it forced Joe to have to really fight through for the win. So, back to the booth is fan favorite, AJ Soccer.
Hi, guys. Looking over the deck lists, we got Breakfast and Merfolk.
Yeah, but Breakfast took it down already, so we're
Oh, we're done.
we're in between right now.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna get another match.
Yeah,
All right.
versus Scott.
All right, we're gonna get Ben Stepka again versus Scott Limoges, and that's the Bug Still deck that we watched earlier, and against Ad Nauseam Tendrils. So we'll be
Oh, that's gonna be